What up, everybody? This is my Tulsa King, episode 4, Visitation Place, breakdown and review. So, the first storyline I want to get to from this episode was Dwight finding Armin, getting to know a little bit more about the backstory of Dwight and Armin and their history. When Dwight finds Armin, he immediately thinks Chicky is the one who sent Armin to kill him. He doesn't think it's just a coincidence that after all these years, just coincidentally, Armin was in Tulsa, Oklahoma. But Armin explains to Dwight that he hadn't seen Chicky in over 20 years. And then to save his own life, he tells Dwight that Pete and Chicky set Dwight up to get killed in prison because they thought he was going to snitch, facing 25 years. And we did learn that one of the two bodies that the feds know, because we know that Dwight has two bodies, and at least two bodies, and one of them was one he caught while in prison, a self-defense. So this was obviously the guy who Pete and Chicky hired to get set up to get Dwight killed while he was in prison. And since Armin knew this information about the hit on Dwight, he left town. He was afraid that what they would do to him because what he knew. And he has been in Tulsa for 19 years because he wanted out of the life. Then we find out that Armin is the one who messed up and is the reason that Dwight went away for 25 years. Armin used to work for Dwight, and now he's going to be working for Dwight again in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And with the mob, working for somebody is a different type of thing, because he says you work for me, and now Armin owes Dwight working for him. Instead of the other way around, Dwight paying Armin. Armin now owes Dwight $300 a week cash. So we know he worked with him before, and there was something that got to do with the reason why Dwight went away for 25 years. Armin was possibly involved with the murder, whatever Dwight went away for, and messed something up, left some evidence that he was supposed to get rid of that cost Dwight his freedom. So that's how Dwight left that. Lets Armin live as we knew he would, and now he got Armin working for him. I say working for him, giving him $300 a week. So basically, he got to do whatever Dwight tell him to do now. Wanted out the life, found himself 20 years later right back in the life working for his old boss. So that gets me to the main storyline of this particular episode, and that's Dwight's crew getting those nitrogen tanks to that festival, La La Fest, or whatever kind of musical fest, hippie musical fest, that they are going to set up the tanks of laughing gas out. And at day one, Tyson and Bodie set up the tanks, and Bodie's security guard, they go out there, and I think the other guy with the dreadlocks too. But they go out there and they have a good success. They sell completely out. However, during their time there, they were approached by two guys from Cologne Waltrip's motorcycle crew. But they don't do nothing about it. They just approach them. They say they're on their territory, and that's it. So it seems like it's all good. And between the first night and the second night, Dwight gives Tyson the old ring that we hear from episode 1 that was a gift from Pete. He said the ring lost its luster, because we know now that Dwight knows that Pete betrayed him while he was in prison, set him up to die. So he gave that ring to Tyson. And while Tyson's at dinner, his dad Mark begins to question Tyson about the ring, and he says something about a pinky ring that only mobsters and something about British something are the only people who wear pinky rings. So his dad's starting to get even more suspicious. He knows he's working for a criminal, asking Tyson questions. And we also find out from that particular scene, we meet Tyson's brother and sister. We see them for the first time and find out he has 2 siblings as well. So, as well as we see Dwight speaking to his ex-wife Joanne, who he has not spoken to in 25 years, and finds out his brother Joe is in New York and he is dying. He is on his final days. He's basically on life support. So that will be a storyline that we're going to get into for the next episode. But continue to this particular episode. The 2 guys that approached Bodie and Tyson at the fest about selling on their turf went back to report this to Kelon Waltrip, and Kelon Waltrip was not happy about this, and he had the rest of his motorcycle gang jump the 2 guys who approached Bodie and Tyson for not shutting them down. He wanted them to act and shut him down, and because they were indecisive, they got a beat down. So it gets to day 2 of the festival. Bodie and the crew is there selling the laughing gas when they get jumped by I think they said 8 members of Kelon Waltrip's crew come in there, jump them, steal the tanks and all the money. So Dwight comes up, he gathers his crew together, and I said I saw in the trailer for this particular episode, Mitch was not there, and I find out why Mitch did not go along, because we find out Mitch, we knew he did time in prison, but he is also on parole. So Dwight didn't want him going. Dwight tells Mitch to fall back unless they get jammed up. He didn't want him to violate his parole. And also we see Stacy Bill, the ATF agent, Dwight's fling. She hooks herself up with a new man named Colton and brings Colton to her house. And I have a feeling this man Colton could be a possible storyline for future episodes. He says that he likes to think of himself as a good guy. So I want to know exactly who this Colton guy is, because I don't think it's just a coincidence that she hooks up with this particular guy, just like it wasn't a coincidence that she happened to hook up with Dwight. So that gets me to Dwight and his crew gets to the festival, day 3 of the festival. They go, they gather up Dwight, Armin, Bodie, Badface, Bodie's security guard, that guy, Bodie's homeboy who does the cash register with the dreadlocks, and they got Tyson, and Tyson's dad joins along for the beatdown. He says an enemy to my enemy is my friend, so he wants to go and get a part of the beatdown for the people who beat down his son. So they go, they handle business, they have baseball bats. There's only 8 of them. They got the jump on the crew and were able to take down 12 of Kelon Waltrip motorcycle gang, beat them down real good, and take the money back as well as the tanks. So they wrap it up. They come up big. They come up with on top. They plan to make $100K from the night, from the weekend. I don't know if they ended up making all that back, considering I don't know if they got back what they lost from night 2, but we do know they got the profits from both night 1 and night 3, so that would be $70K profit right there alone if they didn't get back what they lost from night 2. So that was the conclusion of this episode, and Armin finally gets revenge on his neighbor who keeps letting his dog poop in his yard. He gets back from the night being out with Dwight and the boys, gets home and steps in a thing of dog poop, sees his neighbor over there getting his paper, and smacks his neighbor with the shoe and gives him a beat down. So I don't recommend y'all beating none of your neighbors down, because they ain't gonna just let you slide like that. What they're gonna do is call the cops and have you go to jail if you decide to beat down your neighbor. But Armin got away with it. Armin probably could get away with this one, because I guess he could say technically, if the old man from across the street who he just beat down actually does call the cops, he does look like he just been beat up. So I guess he technically could say that the old man beat him up and he acted in self-defense. So, but Armin gets his revenge on his neighbor, and he tells his wife this is who had planned to get it when she found out about Dwight. She had planned on moving to Ocala, Florida, but he tells his wife that they already have a home. They don't gotta take the Zoom meeting with the realtor. So he was having second thoughts. He didn't want to get back to working with Dwight, but after mixing it up with Dwight and the boys and getting some pay from it, he decides maybe he'll stay in Tulsa, Oklahoma and enjoy the life he had already been building for the last 19 years. And there you have it, the episode 4 of Tulsa King, Visitation Place breakdown. Leave your thoughts in the comments.